This is my Symbol King's army. This is the Undying Legion of Runestar D12. You can use any undead models you have to represent the Symbol Kings. They're the main antagonists of the story. They've got loads of backstory and art and lore, and I put a lot into them. So I think undead players will get a lot out of Runestar. I'll just talk you through this army really quickly. The theme of the army is the Storm Legion. So these guys are like the elite vanguard who will break through enemy lines. So this whole force is more or less an elite army and is very expensive. I'll talk you through really quickly the different units. I've got a unit of 10 claw carrion. These guys are basically ghouls. They're light infantry. They're good at flushing archers out of dense terrain. They can take objectives, outflank enemies, but they're very poorly armored. They're expendable basically. They're fast but light. They will not hold the line very long, but they're useful to have on a tactical level. Then I've got a unit of 10 Black Core Cavalry. The Black Core are like the most hardcore Undying Immortals. They're completely empty inside. They're heavily armored and they're armed with Storm Blades, which you can charge up to get like these kind of bonus magic attacks. They're absolutely brutal. The only downside with them really is they're quite expensive and you need a mage nearby to charge mana into them. That's the only real downside. Next to him, I've got a Dread Knight who's like a kind of quite a unique hero. He's fearsome, so you're more likely to break enemies if you have him in your unit. He can join those cavalry, or he can join these cavalry. This is a unit of Shadow Spear Horsemen. They're kind of like light, medium cavalry. They're not shock cavalry. They can't hold the line very long. They're a bit cheaper. The Undying Legion list is pretty slow, so it's good to have a nice unit of cavalry like this so you can grab objectives and stuff. I've upgraded them to have bows, as you can see, they've got bows on their back, and I've put a few archers in to the unit. So Shadow Spear Horsemen, light, medium, they're not going to win you the game, but they're useful tactically, and that's why I've got them in this list. Also, I love these Ralpatha miniatures. I've added shields and stuff to them. They look great. I've got a unit of, was it 14 Claw Carrion? A little bit bigger, but still the same as the other ghouls. They're there to harass flanks, attack archers in terrain, take objectives, that kind of thing. Now we come on to the main core of the force. I've got a big unit of Black Core Legion infantry. These guys, like the cavalry, they've got storm blades. You can charge them up for a special attack. They are hard. Undying legions in Runestar, they're a bit slower than living troops, but they have a bonus against missiles and they're fearless. So they will never rout. At best, they'll get pushed back a bit. So these guys can really hold the line. They're heavy infantry. They're really elite. The downside is they're expensive. They're kind of slow. And again, you need to charge up their rune blades. They are led by this guy here, who is an Essence Lord, which is kind of like a vampire who gets his strength and power by drinking vials filled with the distilled life essence of his political opponents or rivals or whoever gets in his way. So he's basically, in game terms and in story terms, twice as strong, twice as fast as a normal human being, and is plated in like really ornate and effective armor and with the best weapons in the realm. So basically, Essence Lords are monsters. They can take on two enemy heroes, but they're really expensive. So this army really depends on these big, slow units. There's one there. Next to them is a small unit of wraiths led by a sun priest. I need to get more of these rune wraiths. These guys are ethereal. They can move through terrain. They get a special save against mundane weapons, which makes them almost impervious. So basically, the best way to kill them is with magic weapons. Wraiths are again a shock unit. They're very expensive, very elite. They're really cool. You know, they move quite fast. And the Sun Priest here, he's in this army list. He's mainly going to be used for charging up weapons because there's so many Storm Blades everywhere and Rune Blades and stuff. So he might pull off a few spells, but generally speaking, he's going to be supporting the rest of the army. He's a living guy, this Sun Priest. So some models in the Symbol Kings list are still living, so they don't get the bonuses or disadvantages of being undead. We have another unit of Black Core Legion, and again, same as the other guys, heavy infantry, shock unit, fairly slow, but they will grind anyone down. One of the best infantry units in the game, possibly the best infantry unit. And again, they're led by another Essence Lord. This guy has a magic upgrade, so it's a low level rune mage. He's not going to be flinging spells everywhere. He's only a level 2, but he can charge up these guys' blades. He's also got a rune blade, so you can charge up his own blade. Basically, once you charge a rune blade, it can cleave straight through armor with no impediment. It will cut through it like paper. So even more deadly than the usual ones. But with this army, these two infantry units are basically it. If they die, if they perform badly, this army is in trouble. And finally, last but and definitely not least, we have a sun giant. So near the city states of the Symbol Kings are the Solarii barbarian tribes, and they are accompanied by these massive giant warriors. And the Symbol Kings had the great idea of basically slaving the giants to their will with their runes and breaking them as they do everything, seeing as they are the main antagonists and kind of bad guys. So sun giants are a shock unit, but in Runestar, you can only ever have as many attacks as you have wounds. So this guy's got 10 wounds and 6 attacks. But once he goes down to 5 wounds, he'll go down to 5 attacks, and then 4 and 3, 2, 1, etc. So massive units like this, they become less effective the more they get wounded. So he's really, whilst he is a powerful and tough monster, he'll work well with another unit, like flanking them or being supported. In Runestar generally, even the strongest unit, you want to give it support because only big infantry units or like heavy tough guys, like these big unit of Black Hawk Cavalry, can just go head to head and then come out intact or win combats. So this army is pretty unbalanced. It doesn't have many archers. I'm going to get some more archers, build up this Wraith unit eventually. But it's fun, it's kind of a exciting challenge. It is hard to face this army. It's so like tough, and it doesn't really have any weaknesses except for putting all of its eggs into one basket and being quite slow. But that is my Symbol King's army.